Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi. The countdown to kickoff continues. Super Bowl 60. The New England Patriots, the Seattle Seahawks. Temperature check, my man?
Yeah, this is it now. We're over the hump. We're on the back nine. That's it. We're leading. We're on the final stretch turn. Get the whip out.
You feel
good?
Get
the whip out.
All right.
Close the gap.
Here he goes.
And extend.
Points. Have you wavered at all on your love of the total in this game?
No, I've talked to a couple people, though.
This is good.
Our great production crew in the back.
Yeah.
Whispering names as we speak. Yes, I did speak to a couple people.
Yeah.
Did a couple shows. And the pulse is that I think that what you and I have broken down throughout the week is that, if New England wins, a lot of people don't see that being a high-scoring game.
Yep.
I think the high-scoring game comes if Seattle's dictating that type of tempo. I do like Seattle from the spread perspective, but I told you, I still think that, and I know you said that New England could get through their team total. I agree with that. I mean, I think they can get up to 24, 25 points, and potentially this game be in the high 50s.
Away we go.
Yeah, look, I understand the mindset of going in, pregame jitters, but the way this offense for Seattle's been playing and knowing what you have from Drake May and the passing attack right now, again, I'll go in and say I will bet that McDaniels and Vrabel, who have been in this situation before as a player and obviously an offensive coordinator and have won multiple Super Bowls with one of the best head coaches modern day, you have to break tendency. And you have to do things that you haven't done up until this point to potentially get an advantage. I mean, look at all the Patriot wins, right? Even from a defensive perspective, when they went up against Jared Goff and the L.A. Rams, they showed different looks that they had not shown previously or as much in the regular season and the playoffs. And I think that's where Drake May still could have success. But I still love the over in this matchup.
I'm curious, Joe, because one thing that you hear a lot within this game as people attempt to figure out, what the determining factor will be, it's New England not moving the ball against the Chargers, the Texans, or the Broncos really with consistency or in any type of impressive fashion. So I know that you are more on the Seattle side in this game, but for...
Go ahead.
Why are you willing? I feel as if kind of what we've seen from New England in the postseason games, both sides of it doesn't bother you at all. You're not bothered that their offense didn't look great, and you're not bothered that their defense put up incredible numbers.
No, because, again, and maybe it's just how I would attack it, I guess, and this is where I could potentially get into trouble because I put myself in the situation of both teams, offensively, defensively, and I say if I have 2 weeks to prepare for an opponent with the biggest game in my life, right, with the opportunity to be a Super Bowl champ, how would I attack it and how would I want to go down if, in fact, I lose? I'm throwing the kitchen sink at everything I can to make sure I haven't missed a beat in terms of preparation. So I've heard this a lot, and we've had Warren on, and I don't know if you saw Warren's critique about the breakdown about the success of Drake May and what they were utilizing cover 6 coverage, right, where 6 defensive backs and they were playing a multitude of zone looks for him, gave him a lot of bit of trouble, supposedly, right? And I didn't see the film breakdown on that, but that was Warren's take, and that from that matchup on, right, in the early part with the Chargers, you saw more and more of it. It started with McDermott and obviously went through to the playoffs. Okay, so if that's the case, let's just say, okay, and I'll just give it on the and I'm McDaniels, and I'm Vrabel, and I see my quarterback struggling with a certain type of coverage.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, maybe this isn't his strength up until this point in his career. What do I do to neutralize that, to get him involved in a rhythm, and to get him involved in the passing attack early? Because, again, Kev, I don't want him to be a factor in the second half, late, when it's signed, sealed, and delivered. I want him to be a factor early on, where if this game does go off the rails potentially, my defense is leaky and giving up a ton of yards to JSN and Darnold. I want to know that Drake is in a rhythm, confident, and we're spreading it around to every option that we have in the passing attack. So for me, if it takes getting him a 2-minute offense early and tempo just to get him into a rhythm, that's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to wait. That's the way I would attack it. And I would hope that McDaniels and Vrabel take a similar type of approach, because that's what they used to do for years with the matchups and the game plan. They were the chameleon. We talk about it under Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
So that is why when I approach this, I'm not afraid to say I'm diving in on the total. With or without, Drake may throw it for 350. I told you, he could get to 230, 240, and they still lose the game, like I said, 35-24.
So I think what's interesting, I get just from my perspective, right, is I share the belief in New England's offense showing up in this game.
And putting up points. I don't think they're going to put up 13 points, Kev. I'd be stunned too. That would be a complete breakdown. It would have to be a turnover fest.
Yeah.
4 or 5 turnovers, similar to with Stroud and that team, where they're not capitalizing on red zone opportunities in any form or way.
If this team is held to 13, as you said, then actually all of a sudden, every single thing about the schedule, I think, just becomes fact. If this team spends the whole season with the best offense in football, you could argue, certainly one of the 3 best offenses, get into the playoffs, they do play great offense or great defenses. So I'm not saying it's supposed to be easy. But if they go 0 for 4 on showing up on that side of the ball, then yeah, you probably were a team who took advantage of schedule opportunities. I think they did take advantage of schedule opportunities, but I don't think that's just it. I think they are a good team that I expect to show up and meet the moment. But the inverse, every time I say it, you're stunned. It's in the way New England offensively needs to step up. It's this guarantee that people have that Seattle offensively is going to answer the bell.
It's not the guarantee.
Every time I've said if New England scores 24, you go, well, so you think there's going to be 60 points. That's what you keep saying to me.
Maybe that's part of my
rooting.
That's it, talking into fruition. Yeah. No, I guess because for me, and I look at Kubiak, and we've talked about this, how Kubiak all of a sudden changed things. Now, part of that, I think, is also that we haven't talked about enough, is Charbonnet being a main part of that offense as well, and him not being there. And obviously, Helani's a good back. He's not an elite back, right? He's certainly not Zach Charbonnet. And maybe Kubiak realized that and said, you know what, I have to adjust, because the things that I was able to do in the rushing attack, I can no longer do. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to make a run, we need Sam and we need JSN, our 2 best options, to step up. I'm just saying, because the way they just flipped it, like you said, and like all of a sudden the governor's off. Here we go, baby. First team to 80. Mm-hmm. So okay. Let me ask you this. Put it in a college basketball March Madness tournament. If all of a sudden, like UConn, right, on that 2 years ago when they went on that, and all of a sudden, where'd this team come from? Mm-hmm. What happened then? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just saying it's similar to what I see in Seattle over this 2 or 3 game stretch.
Did
you like that?
No, I did.
With the UConn? Out of nowhere.
No, I think that's a real thing in sports.
Right.
Where you just can't catch up. You just go, they just smash, and you're just, the only way you're making money is if you go, you know what, I don't care. They're just going to keep smashing teams. But you reminded me of something that was a big take of mine going into last year's Super Bowl, and I think it could apply to this year's game.
So let's talk about it.
So we will talk about that after the break, right here on Pro Football Today.
Aaron Judge, no stranger to hitting 60 home runs in a season, but we certainly aren't going to put a FanDuel win total or even DraftKings at 60. So Sam, our producer, set it at 55. Aaron Judge will hit 55-plus home runs this year. You going to buy or sell?
All right, Aaron Rodgers here.
Oh, there
Aaron,
he is.
What do you think? What do you think, Aaron? Can you hit 55? Aaron Judge, right? I got it in my head here. 55 is asking a lot, Sam. It's asking a lot. He hit 53 last year, 58 the year before, 37, but that was the year he hurt his toe in Dodger Stadium, and then of course 62. I gotta sell this. All right, you're asking for just to be 7 home runs off the record. I mean, no, we can't keep doing this every year here. Plus, he does have an injury history there. Over the last 2 years, he's been completely healthy. I'll just say no. Between possibility of an injury, teams waking up and going, nope, not pitching to him. I'll take the under here. Although as a Yankee fan, he better, because if he don't, Yankees gonna be in a lot of trouble.
So I've decided to go by the letter of the law. Sam is not going to like this. Sam is not going to like my answer. Yep. Sam, listen. Sam leaves these little loopholes in the buy or sell. 55 home runs between 55 plus the regular season, postseason, World Baseball Classic. Buy. Spring training. Buy. Above 55 between spring training, World Baseball Classic, regular season, and postseason. Aaron Judge will hit 55 home runs.
He didn't say this season.
He didn't say this season. He said this year. The graphic says this year.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. And Joe and I talking a little bit about the side. We're going to get into some running backs a little bit later on. And just kind of our beliefs in who will step up, what the thought process is for these football teams, what's going to carry over from the most recent game. And you mentioned how Clint Kubiak and Darnold approached the game against the Rams. Last year, something that I fully believed. I know sometimes people think this stuff is nonsense. I don't really care. When the Chiefs beat the Bills in the AFC Championship game, Mahomes ran to Twitter to stick his chest out. You don't really see Mahomes do that for a guy who's already, at that time, a 3-time Super Bowl champion, wins an AFC Championship game, and is like, come on now. Did you really think anything else was going to happen? And hey, man, for sure, another game to play, right? For sure. But I think for the Chiefs, that was their Super Bowl. I think playing Buffalo, beating Buffalo was their Super Bowl. Because that was the only team, if you remember, who had beat them in the regular season with the starters.
Yeah, they beat them 28-21, maybe.
So
I think so.
Yeah, right.
Or 2 years, yeah.
Maybe by 9 they won. Nevertheless.
This year was 28.
The Seahawks, Rams have had 2 incredible regular season
that
battles.
Was the Super Bowl.
Well, you're cutting me off.
Come on.
Even if you see, listen, just because you see where I'm going doesn't mean you have to speed up. But those 2 teams had these 2 great battles, and people had been telling themselves for months, weeks, that's the real Super Bowl. Get us part 3. And you know, Joe, you know for a fact going into that game, people said, this is the real Super Bowl. Doesn't matter, Denver, New England, why bother? The real Super Bowl is the NFC Championship game. And I think that stuff is dangerous. I think dangerous. Seattle saying every I don't know how many times I've seen JSN line up as a running back and run scissors to the corner. I know they did it against the Rams. I know the Pats will be ready for it if they run it against them. They just will. I'm not saying Seattle's not going to score any points, but is it not fair to say that the Seahawks played a Super Bowl level game against the Rams?
No doubt. Offensively and defensively. I think the defense was stellar still, when they had to be, right? And they got off the field. I thought inside the red zone and inside the 20, they held Stafford to field goals when they had to and not touchdowns. And that's why they were able to win it. And win it and cover. You can make the argument it could have been an 11 or even an 18-point game if that stupid penalty isn't called, right? That was a 4th and 12. They gave him life. They scored on the following play. So, I don't take away from that.
Okay.
And I'm certainly not discounting New England. I think the biggest thing for New England, I told you, and people, and that's why we asked the analytical guys, that is 9-0 on the road, whether you're in, I don't care who it is. It's an NFL team, and we've seen the Giants and some of the other garbage teams step up and knock off teams, right? We saw the Browns earlier in the year knock off Green Bay when everybody was anointing Green Bay as the second coming of Vince Lombardi and Bart Starr back in the day. I mean, yeah, anything can happen. So to run the table at 9-0, I think is very impressive. That said, that is already caked into the line, right? So you have a dominant road team. Dominant. There's no doubt about it. They're dominant. They're 9-0.
No, let me just call. No, I'm going to call it. Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
This is why, and I don't know why I am doing this.
Go ahead.
I think I am upset that you're on Seattle. Because I think I know you, and I don't think it's like you, and that's fine. Like, you're allowed to. But let's just call it for what it is, okay?
Yeah,
all respect, with all respect to every single person involved. We've heard people say that they're giving Seahawks home field advantage.
All right.
And you are like, the Pats haven't lost the road game. So honestly, fine.
Right.
Like, but Joe, like,
No. So
what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
What was the spread in last year's game?
It's like 1.5.
Okay.
1.
Right.
Yeah.
Bucks thought it was an evenly matched game, even though you and I, we knew.
Yeah,
right?
we thought it was unevenly matched.
Right.
Yeah.
Uneven. Like that was the easiest side bet that we. Right. 3.5 the line open. Over a key number with a half.
Yeah.
You don't think they're begging you to take New England?
Well, not really, considering they ended up getting smashed on Seattle numbers. I think they're looking for people like me to bet. They're looking for New England bettors.
I'll keep saying this. We're in the middle. We're past the bell curve.
Sure.
I think you're going to see a 3.5 before kick.
Joe, listen. Again, you are willing to go out on a limb, stick to your guns. Joe, there's no evidence of that, though. None. We know that there are some books still sticking to a 5. There's not a book at 4
yet.
Okay, but like they had 3. Don't you think that if they were at 3.5 and got bet up to 5, that it's going to be, Joe, if they go back down to 4, people are going to bet it back up?
Is that what happened with Denver and New England? Because we opened at 3.5, 4, and we immediately got up to a 5.5, 6, and then the whole week we came back down.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm just saying, and that was a backup quarterback.
Well, I mean,
that was a backup quarterback. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I
this
guess.
This is a Super Bowl where I think when people say, the public's coming in, it's not just the public that's going to come in. There's going to be sharps that are going to come in and say, really hammer this number too. Either way.
Right.
So I don't think we've seen all the money out in the market yet. Mm-hmm. So my point is, sitting back, you're waiting, and then you're going to see syndicate crews. You're gonna see them pull the trigger, and whatever way we ride, the galloping ghost will take us. You just gotta stay on that sidecar. Hang in there. Don't go off the rails.
Look, I hear you, and I mean, listen, it's a fair point that you make with the Denver game. I guess what I would say, I always found that to be ridiculous, what they did with that number.
But what was coming out with the Denver game? I'll tell you what was coming out. It was Stidham, right? And the uncertainty with Stidham. And then all of a sudden, the Twitter crew got together, and we started putting out all the Stidham tape. Las Vegas versus the best defense with Devontae Adams. Stidham in the preseason, he gets the offense. Stidham with the Peyton Manning, Sean Payton. This is the guy he wanted. Stidham going, and the comments going up against Vrabel and the Pats, and you should have wanted me. I think you're going to start to hear more and more about the 9-0 as we inch closer to kick.
Again, it's interesting. As someone who was on New England, obviously, I do think the number is too high, but I just don't think there's a ton of evidence that says it's going the other direction. We'll keep talking about it here on Pro Football Today.
Aaron Judge, no stranger to hitting 60 home runs in a season, but we certainly aren't going to put a FanDuel win total or even DraftKings at 60. So Sam, our producer, set it at 55. Aaron Judge will hit 55 plus home runs this year. You going to buy or sell?
All right, Aaron Rodgers here.
Oh, there he
Aaron,
is.
What do you think? What do you think, Aaron? Can you hit 55? Aaron Judge, right? Got it in my head here. 55 is asking a lot, Sam. It's asking a lot. He hit 53 last year, 58 the year before, 37, but that was the year he hurt his toe in Dodger Stadium, and then of course 62. I gotta sell this. All right, you're asking for just to be 7 home runs off the record. I mean, no, he can't keep doing this every year here. Plus, he does have an injury history there. Over the last 2 years, he's been completely healthy. I'll just say no. Between the possibility of an injury, teams waking up and going, nope, not pitching to him. I'll take the under here. Although as a Yankee fan, he better, because if he don't, Yankees gonna be in a lot of trouble.
So I've decided to go by the letter of the law. Sam is not going to like this. Sam is not going to like my answer. Yep. Sam, listen. Sam leaves these little loopholes in the buy or sell. 55 home runs between 55 plus regular season, postseason, World Baseball Classic. Buy. Spring training. Buy. Above 55 between spring training, World Baseball Classic, regular season, and postseason. Aaron Judge will hit 55 home runs.
Such a lawyer in another life.
He didn't say this season. He said this year. The graphic says this year.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
Here on SportsGrid Pro Football Today, and we're slated to talk some running backs. So I'm going to try and be smart about this.
Go ahead.
So I know where we're going to end up.
Alani.
No.
Cam Akers.
What?
I think he's like a 30-1 shot to score. Big bad Cam Akers. He's got some burn left in him.
When is the last time Cam Akers got a run?
Not too long ago.
You got to think most people watching this show are wondering which team's he on.
He's on Seattle.
I'm just.
Right.
Do you think that's common knowledge?
Let me see. Cam Akers. He's got some burned.
Well, he didn't get a
played
touch in the NFC title game.
No, he didn't. But he's the third stringer. He's gotten 5 carries, 19 yards this year.
Okay.
Last carry for Big Bad Cam.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about Big Red. I'm talking about. Let's see.
What do you got for me?
Was he in like September?
Wait.
So he got 5 carries when he was with this year, but he got traded from Minnesota. So when he was with Minnesota, the first game of the year, 5 carries, 19 yards. He hasn't touched the ball since week 1. He's got some burn. He's fresh. Look, I'm telling you, if I'm the running back coach, and I got Ken Walker,
Oh my gosh.
I got this George Helani,
Sure.
and I got Cam Akers.
Yep.
Helani, take a seat. Let Cam come in.
Come on.
I'm just saying, Cam's a much better running back than George Helani. Give me a break.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. George Helani's terrible.
Come on. Joe.
He is. Yeah, I mean, come on.
This could be one of your great calls.
I'm just saying.
You've got me. I got to scour the more. I wasn't ready for this
Why?
because you've been spending all week long talking about Henderson.
Well, I mean, I don't want to.
Please.
I don't want to dilute it.
I don't even know. I'm
Which
gonna
one?
listen. I'm not. I'm just now doing retcon.
Yeah, do some recon.
I need to find the Cam
Get me a
Akers
number. Half a yard, I'll take it.
I think I can find it.
All right, if you find it, I'm taking it.
What do you need for?
Half.
I'm saying, but like, play. Here we go. Here we go. 2-1 for a yard. Plus 200 for 1 yard.
I'll take it.
Come on.
I'm serious.
Come on.
I think Cam Akers. I think Cam Akers will have some burn.
Can I then You're not gonna like it.
I got to look at the depth chart. I just want to make sure.
Can I give you a bet then that I
Sure.
think then you might like?
Yeah, go ahead.
Total number of Seahawks to record a rush
Yeah.
plus 126
Okay.
over 4.5.
Yeah, sure.
You just
Darnold,
okay.
Walker, Helani,
Okay.
JSN or Shaheed,
Okay.
and Akers.
What about Barner? He does the tush push.
Well, that too. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you got 6. Did you just did you just list 7 guys?
So he's not even listed on ESPN. They got
How many snaps did he play in the? I can't believe that you really are a marvel. There's no wonder they pay you the big bucks. Let me see here. Against the Rams, Cam Akers. Don't look now. Don't look now. Played 1 snap. Don't look now.
Okay.
I'd love to know when that snap was. Like, what was the situation that happened? Did they run play action?
He's not even listed as third. Even on the Seahawks website, Ken Walker, George Helani, third. They have nobody.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Anything good? I just want to see. Is anyone talking about? Someone interviewed Cam Akers out there.
Did they?
Yeah. Looks like you would have been able to get access to him. He's played in a Super Bowl before. People don't talk about that. Is Cam Akers going to be the guy?
He's on the practice squad here. I don't know if is he playing? He's listed as an anytime touchdown.
Well, yeah, they'll list anybody. I'm pretty sure I could request Joe Lisi.
I'll take a 2-to-1 shot on Cam Akers.
For a yard.
Yep.
Let me just ask you this question. If I say, hey, Joe, Cam Akers gets a carry,
Yeah.
do you think Helani will still get a carry?
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to utilize Helani on third downs, yes.
So you're thinking Akers, Darnold, Walker, Helani, Shaheed. You don't like Shaheed. What do you like, Barner? You like JSN. Well, hold on a second. I can get a JSN to record a yard number 2.
Let's just go with the Cam Akers now.
I'm just saying.
I got to write this down on my handy dandy
You can get 290 plus
Akers.
290 on JSN.
Okay. Cam Akers, 2-to-1.
Darno.
Darno. Sam Darno?
This will be good. Let's head out to San Francisco after a break right here on Pro Football Today.
The outline for Koepka are fantastic. I think it's perfect. It is punitive, but it's fair. You've got to levy some sort of fine, so to speak, for defecting, and I think they've done a wonderful job of being equitable and punishing him a bit at the same time. I think Brooks ultimately wants to be playing with the best.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
New York Giants. They fired their head coach, Brian Daboll. Now, they did that during the season. Harbaugh is the favorite by a wide margin. Looking at Kalshi right now, Joe, 56% chance. 56 that he's the coach. The guy behind him is Kevin Stefanski at 25%. Does this look like it's just a Harbaugh spot? And if not, why is Harbaugh waiting until Monday? Does he want to see if something else opens up? But it looks like he's the heavy favorite and probably will get the job.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Memphis is shopping John Morant. Yeah, no kidding. They should have shopped him 2 years ago and got rid of him. The problem is, where does he go? Like, what team is going to sit there and deal with a dude who, A, has not been healthy or reliable both on the court or off the court? Like, who's trading for John Morant here, Coach?
The Early Line, only on Sports.
Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi, now joined live from San Francisco, the one and only Adam Kaufman out there covering Super Bowl 60. And just like you thought back in August, you would be covering a New England Patriots Super Bowl. How we doing, Adam?
I mean, I'm not going to say I predicted that, but I will say a lot of you at the network, Joe Ranieri, maybe you, certainly Craig Mish, others, laughed at me along the way when I at least left the door open for the Patriots to be sitting in this situation. It was, nah, it's going to be the Bills. The Ravens are going to make it. They're going to do it. It doesn't matter. There's no Mahomes. There's no Burrow. Like somebody, the Broncos, obviously, like your Patriots, fool's gold, the schedule, blah, blah. They found a way. They're here. Now, what they do with it against Seattle and a really tough defense, obviously, we'll find out. But the fact that they are here, it's pretty wild.
So I want to ask just, and again, for the record, you and I have had this conversation. I thought they'd make the playoffs. I do think they've had an easy schedule. I thought they could lose to Denver. I think they can win this game.
Sure.
I am curious the sense you are getting out there from people you are talking to about this game. And is it overwhelmingly Seattle, a little split?
I would say it certainly depends who you talk to. Like there's certainly bias, whether it's, guys that lost to the Patriots in their career and they're just by default picking Seattle, former Seahawks leaning into Seattle, that type of thing. I mean, I was talking to, Seth freaking Rollins of WWE fame earlier today, and he said like Seattle by 1,000 or whatever it was. So you have the people that are out here trying to make headlines, but Marshall Newhouse, who has won a Super Bowl, was on with us just a little while ago. He won with the Packers back in his rookie year. And he said, and he's doing some media work now, he said that he believes, and I would say there's been more of this along the way, kind of as the week goes on. I know we're only sitting here midweek, but as time goes on, more and more people have said, I feel like Seattle's the better team. Seattle should win this game. But the whole Seattle in a route thing and New England's not even going to be competitive and all of that, it's sort of gone too far. And you are having some people that are coming in and on the other side, and this isn't, largely these aren't betting people, obviously. It's not like people saying, take the points with New England. I think New England is live to win this game. But what everyone comes back to, and I'm sure you've said the same thing, I know I have, it's how does that happen? If it does, it's ultimately not so much, Drake May needs to be exceptional. It's the defense needs to make life very difficult on Sam Darnold. And if he has a couple of critical mistakes in this game, that's what swings it the other way. So that's a lot of what the sentiment around here is right now.
I want to ask you, Adam, because you do a lot of work in Boston and you're close to the team. Is the perception of Drake May that obviously the offensive game plan was just to grind those games out and get out of Dodge? Are you concerned about his performance over the past 3 playoff games?
Well, I'll take it to another place. I'm not concerned about the shoulder. I know there were those reports over the course of the last week, a lot of mouth breathing on network TV saying Drake May's shoulder, this, that, misses a practice, shoulder/illness, all of that. I'm not worried. Now, if he's out there for the first series and he looks off, will that be a little bit concerning to me? Sure. But right now, I kind of feel like the shoulder concern is much to do about nothing, and it's just kind of filling time for the last week and a half. But in terms of what we have seen over the last few games, maybe I'm naive, but I look at it and I say, no, obviously New England's offense has not been particularly good, but it's also faced 3 top 5 defenses with, by the way, the 6th ranked defense and number 1 scoring defense coming up here with Seattle. Like, how exactly do you expect Drake May in his second year, 23 years old, and going through all of this for the first time to look? If you want to say that the defense has largely won these games and not the offense, I'm not going to quibble with that. Fine. It's the whole defense wins championship things. I also, though, look at it and say, you had a bad weather game against the Texans. You had a terrible weather game there, at least in the second half, against the Broncos, all the while going up against really strong defenses. So I'm fascinated to see, after a 2-week break and, a lot of built-in rest during last week, what Drake May and that offense looked like against another premier defense, arguably the best one of the 4 as far as I'm concerned, and in beautiful weather. Like, it's going to be 70 degrees and sunny or whatever. It's like there's no no excuses that people can make at this point in time. So I feel like we're kind of due for the Drake May game. Does that mean he's going to go out and be MVP Drake May like he was throughout so much of the regular season? We'll see. I have no idea. But there's no question we have not seen that guy here in 3 playoff games. And that is something that a lot of people are a little bit alarmed about. But there's no doubt the Seattle defense, while exceptional, has, it's not like it can't be beaten. The Rams multiple times teed off against that defense, including, just over a week ago. So it's not as though New England cannot do the same thing.
I agree. If he's on and they move the football, we'll see what happens. You can make the argument that Drake May's performance is similar to Brady's first Super Bowl win over the Rams. I do want to ask you, though, because I don't know if we're going to have time, what is the situation that you're hearing back home with Travion Henderson? Is he in fact hurt? Why aren't they utilizing him? I need to know. 32 carries at the end of the regular season in back-to-back games. I understand the pass blocking. Is that it? What is the reason why the guy only had 3 carries against Denver?
Yeah, for me, I don't think it's an injury concern. I think it's a little bit of riding the hot hand, honestly. And Ramondre Stevenson, while back in the first handful of games of the regular season, had the fumble issues. Since then, he's been clean, and really going back to the last, let's say, 5 games of the regular season to where we are now through the playoffs, Stevenson's been exceptional. He's not been Christian McCaffrey, but he's been, really exactly what you're looking for. A methodical chain mover. He can catch the ball, move it that way out of the backfield, and obviously is capable of finding some holes and bullying his way through some guys and moving the ball as a rusher as well. But I don't think you can just, if you're Mike Vrabel, leave Travion Henderson to sit there and watch. I think you need both of these guys because, what Stevenson does, and I said it, he can blow up for a 55-yard catch or whatever like we saw earlier in the postseason. Generally speaking, it's a lot of short yardage gains and, again, methodically, to use that word once more, moving the chains. Your home run hitter is Travion Henderson. That's the guy that can break one off and run for a 70-yard, catch and run or just to carry, whatever it is. So he's got to get his opportunities. I don't think investing over in his props is a bad idea, but if you want to be concerned about usage like you're talking about, that's justified. But I think you need to, if you're Vrabel, both these guys, even though it's going to be mostly Stevenson barring an injury, heaven forbid, both these guys need to be part of the game plan. It's all Kenneth Walker on the other side. That's your option with no Charbonnet. You got 2 for New England to balance out just a little bit.
My only thing is, look, I think it's good insight, Adam. It's just I've been sitting next to Joe already for too long. The reason Travion Henderson isn't getting the ball is he's not playing well at all, and Stevenson looks incredible. That is largely what it boils down to. It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Henderson has a long career ahead of him. He'll likely be the starting running back next year. Travion Henderson is yet to average more than 3 yards a carry in any of these games. He's not been the more explosive back for 6 weeks.
Stevenson
You just asked Adam if anybody at home knows if Henderson is hurt.
Well, I want to know.
Lost your mind.
No, because he had, how many carries did he have in the second game against Houston? He had 9 or 10?
12.
Okay, so.
And he had 25 yards. They went, all right, that's enough for that.
Come on, that was in garbage time, though, too. I mean, he carried the ball in the fourth quarter when the game was already over. You're making it sound like, I don't know, you're making it sound like the guy hasn't had 911 yards. We're making Ramondre Stevenson out like he's Barry Sanders.
No,
I mean, come on. He's not Barry Sanders.
I think going back to what you're both talking about is, one guy has played better than the other. And I'm not, as a talent, disputing Travion Henderson is, he's got a bright future ahead of him. That's the guy. But maybe this weekend, he's not the guy. Again, he's going to get some opportunity. But, as Kev talked about, like the yards per carry and lack of yak and all of that, like it's not been a good showing so far. But again, that's for the offense across the board. Outside of a guy like Stevenson who has played very well.
Well, listen, I think we're going to talk to Adam again after this segment. There's a couple of other things I want to get to. But if during the break, Kaufman, if you can text, Boston Louie or
exactly.
Uncle Steve, maybe he knows. Hey, what is Henderson on the tank? Anybody know what's going on here?
Ask him to ask Teddy Bruschi. Ask Bruschi to talk
anybody
to
know what's going on? That'd be great.
I saw Teddy here.
Please.
Find it out.
What's happening?
Heads or tails? Over or under? Seahawks, Patriots. Don't stress. SportsGrid breaks it all down.
They are locks.
We can capitalize.
We're going to see a ton of over money.
Props, expert guests, and smart insight leading up to the big game.
Oh my God, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
Only on SportsGrid.
They're just unblemished everywhere. They dominate you defensively, and they have offensive balance. They force turnovers, they control the glass. Let's put it to you like this. UConn isn't just undefeated. They're a tyrant over the women's basketball landscape. March won't expose them much as they will confirm their invincibility.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Can USA overtake Canada and get that gold, Joe?
Absolutely, they can here. And ultimately, it feels like that is the two-horse race. And I think ultimately, Canadians don't really care if their team competes in the luge or the bobsled, Donnie, or anything else. They just want that gold when it comes to ice hockey. And that is the only thing that's going to matter there.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Drake May and Sam Darnold here, and again, getting out of Stidham, which who knows what that have brought to the Super Bowl, but at least we get a young quarterback in Drake May looking to stamp his claim to, yeah, Tom Brady was great for this organization. Let me see if I can run a couple championships up the flagpole early in my career. And then there's Sam Darnold at this point, where he's getting other general managers fired while he's making his run to the Super Bowl. He's been nothing short of really, really good this season.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today. We're back with you here on SportsGrid. We're joined by Adam Kaufman, who was out at San Francisco for Super Bowl 60. Adam, we do really appreciate it. And just getting a little bit of insight on the game. I do want to just go outside the game for a second. It is something that you and I got to talk a little bit about last week when the Belichick news broke in Robert Kraft. And that candidacy.
Feels like an eternity ago.
It really does, though. What did you make of Robert Kraft not getting in? Do you think, I'm not trying to disparage his case. Do you think that was a merit thing, or is this more tied to the black marks that are maybe on the Patriots early 2000s?
Yeah, look, a lot of people want to point to Spygate or Deflategate or various scandals or lack of, likability, or people, according to some that I've certainly spoken with over the years, there's a lot of theorizing, and that's all it is. But it's a lot of theorizing that, man, people are, like, voters are kind of appalled at the way that Robert Kraft has, really campaigned for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is very clearly important to him to be recognized by the Hall in the way that some other owners are. And by the way, having owned the team since the early 90s and, now appearing in, an 11th Super Bowl and having won 6, maybe 7th on the way, and all the work that he has done in terms of various committees and, really, chairing the media influence and the way that the league has blown up as a media entity beyond the field, almost single-handedly ending the lockout years ago when he and Jeff Saturday went into a room and hashed everything out. To me, it's an unimpeachable case that Robert Kraft has to be in the Hall of Fame. I think, and this is not, it's not like this fun take. It's honestly, it's pretty vanilla, even for me. But I think that it really highlights how broken, how flawed the voting process is for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The rules are going to change, guys. Kraft by himself would be one thing. Like an owner doesn't have to, get in right away. You can make him wait. You can make him sweat. You can, those guys that are in the Veterans Committee ballot kind of thing, that, the sort of end of the line, the Ken Andersons of the world, you could spread your votes out the way you want to. But I think, and we talked about this with Belichick, when Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, truly, I mean, it's so incredibly embarrassing. It's laughable. Like what head coach is, but if you have coaches, never mind Belichick, if you have coaches competing for 3 votes across, many candidates with players that are in this, second leg committee, if you will, because they're on that next ballot, that again, last opportunity ballot in a matter of speaking, along with owners, and like all of these guys are just pitted against one another. It's flawed. It doesn't make a lick of sense. Coaches against coaches, architects, owners against each other, players against players. You can go from there, but you can't have all of these guys going against one another and have it work. And I think to see both of these guys miss, and maybe they go in together next year, and I don't know when Tom Brady's eligible, maybe that's next year, the year after, I'm not sure, maybe they all go in together, but the fact that this is going on the way it's going on, even Roger Goodell has come out and said it's embarrassing.
Yeah, and I think that's, I don't know, there's maybe the moment's passed, but I've still slightly wondered if they're just going to put Bill in this year. Again, I don't know if maybe that opportunity is.
I don't see it.
It just, everyone seems to think that this is now, in unison, a far worse look for the Hall of Fame than Belichick, Spygate. Like, that's, you would agree with that, right?
The NFL, the Pro Football Hall of Fame voters have done the impossible. In 2026, they have made Bill Belichick a universally sympathetic figure.
Yep.
I mean, think about that. I mean, everybody, like, I mean, people who hate Bill Belichick, hate the guy, have come out and still said, look, I may have had my differences with him, or he didn't treat me well as a in my time covering the team, or Bill's a dink, Bill's a dick, Bill's a whatever. Like he still, look at the qualifications. How many he controlled the league for 20 years in terms of running a division, and annually, at least biannually on average, going to a conference championship game, a Super Bowl, at the 300 plus wins, and on and on and on. Like the. Again, I said it before, but if Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, what head coach in NFL history is?
Right. No, I think that's fair. I want to ask you this. Right now, I know these change throughout the week, Adam, but do you have a final score in mind for this game? Again, I won't hold you to it. You can ballpark it, but where are you at as we sit here right now?
I find it really interesting, and I don't know what the conversations have been with you guys, but I'm fascinated by how many people we've talked to that like a high-scoring game, that like the over in this game. To me, it really feels like more of a first team to 20 kind of thing. Like I'm a tough one to answer this, only because I admit a level of Patriots bias. I don't know if I am with my heart saying Patriots win, or if I'm with my head, or it's somewhere in between. I don't. I will acknowledge how great Seattle is. There is a part of me, though, and look, I expected this against the Niners. I was wrong. I expected this against the Rams. I was wrong. May as well be wrong a third time in theory. I'm just waiting for Sam Darnold, like the Cinderella shoe to fall off. I'm waiting, I'm waiting for Sam to turn into a pumpkin again. I'm waiting for that critical error that leads to, that meltdown that everyone's been waiting all season for, that just hasn't come so far. So, yeah, I mean, I do believe the Patriots are going to win this. They've just got these, like, I hate the cliche, but they've got these like team of destiny feels about them, the way that they have played, and the fact that truly everybody is picking against them on a national level. People are pointing over and over against the schedule, and Mike Vrabel's the kind of guy that's going to use that and is going to have his team ready and motivated, and all of these cliches that you could throw out. But I like the Patriots to win. I obviously expect a close game. I think it's the under. I think it's a lower scoring game, and if it's something like 20 to 13, 20 to 17, like that feels like the ballpark. One team low 20s, the other team in the teens.
Yeah, I know Joe sees it differently, but I've told you this. I think I have been surprised, Adam, and again, we appreciate it. I have been surprised at how much people think Seattle is just going to walk into 28 in this game. That has been jarring for me early on in this week. Again, Adam Kaufman will be out there all week long at the Super Bowl doing excellent coverage. We appreciate it a ton. Make sure you stay tuned in. With that, Joe and I will go back to this game after the break on SportsGrid.
Heads or tails? Over or under? Seahawks, Patriots. Don't stress. SportsGrid breaks it all down.
They are locks.
We can capitalize.
We're going to see a ton of over money.
Props, expert guests, and smart insight leading up to the big game.
Oh my God, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
Only on SportsGrid.
They're just unblemished everywhere. They dominate you defensively, and they have offensive balance. They force turnovers, they control the glass. Let's put it to you like this. UConn isn't just undefeated. They're a tyrant over the women's basketball landscape. March won't expose them much as they will confirm their invincibility.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Can USA overtake Canada and get that gold, Joe?
Absolutely, they can here. And ultimately, it feels like that is the two-horse race. And I think ultimately, Canadians don't really care if their team competes in the luge or the bobsled, Donnie, or anything else. They just want that gold when it comes to ice hockey. And that is the only thing that's going to matter there.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Drake May and Sam Darnold here and again, getting out of Stidham, which who knows what that have brought to the Super Bowl. But at least we get a young quarterback in Drake May looking to stamp his claim to, yeah, Tom Brady was great for this organization. Let me see if I can run a couple championships up the flagpole early in my career. And then there's Sam Darnold at this point, where he's getting other general managers fired while he's making his run to the Super Bowl. He's been nothing short of really, really good this season.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Joe, I'm going to go a little off the beaten path. I want to throw something at you.
Go ahead.
I think it's a bit of a surprise to people. And again, it's kind of happening in real time here, but
Wow.
Philadelphia Eagles,
Yeah.
longtime legendary offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland, will not be back with the Philadelphia Eagles next season. Stoutland tweeted out, quote, "I've decided my time coaching with the Eagles has come to an end. I don't necessarily get the vibe that he is retiring as much as
Pushed out?
I don't know. I don't know really why Mannion would push out someone like that. Like, of all, like, to be like, no, listen, like, I need my own offensive line coach,
No,
which is a
but
thing where the Eagles usually hammer in. That's a little.
What was the weakness this year, supposedly?
The offensive line was not good.
Right. So maybe they said, you know, he could see the punches coming and couldn't get out of the way. He was at the end of his rope, like George Foreman was back in the day.
No, it's again. I'm reading more of these tweets.
Saying.
Rappaport goes on to say, won't be coaching, but will stay around the organization.
All right, so then that means that they think he's.
Is it a soft fire?
Yeah, a soft fire. Yeah, it's almost like you know. Listen,
very confusing.
You've done a great work, great service. You've been around with the organization for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But maybe you've lost this step. We don't want to be disrespectful.
Okay.
We'll still give you a paycheck, but you can't coach the offensive line anymore. It's got to be a younger guy with maybe, different technique, and we got to get the run game going. And I'm sure that Mannion came in and said, listen, if I'm going to have offensive balance, I need my offensive line to be legit. We have, on paper, Dickerson, Juergens, they have talent.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I think what's interesting, though, Joe, is there's a lot of people that credit Stoutland with some of like Jordan Mailata's entire career. People credit to Jeff Stoutland.
I'm not taking away.
I want to say this
from the body of work.
Go
ahead.
Would you agree that the Eagles had a pretty tumultuous season? Chemistry, vibes were all off. Would you agree with that?
And I think they had a hangover from the Super Bowl.
Okay, but here's my thing. So I'm not really. So you have maybe an upset A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts.
Run game not going.
Okay. I don't know if I love doing something that feels like it would certainly not sit well with Lane Johnson or Jordan Mailata. That is not. Now again, maybe Stoutland is just like, I'm good. I'll be around. I cannot do this again. I need a break.
Maybe
it's possible, but you said, hey, is he getting pushed out? Right? Like that's not going to sit well with that locker room.
Why didn't it happen then immediately after the year?
I don't know.
Why didn't it happen when Petullo was no longer there? When Petullo was fired.
No, but I like the questions. You're barking up the right tree.
So I'm just saying. So Petullo was fired weeks ago.
Well, no. Well, actually, no. They did the whole song and dance, and he's apparently allowed to still work there. I still can't figure that out.
Is he going to hang? Is he going to hold Big Dom's headset? Big Dom was at the Senior Bowl. Like, seriously? Like, Big Dom is breaking down college talent. I like this guy. Look at this Mike. Look at this Mike Washington.
Look at Malachi Fields.
Look at Taylon Green. Maybe he's got an eye. Maybe he watches Arkansas Bowl like I do.
I do like that you assigned him watching Arkansas like you do. I do like that.
I think if we broke bread, we would have a good time. I'm just saying.
I don't disagree. I think it would be a lot of macho-ness all wrapped up into one.
Machismo?
Yeah, I think there'd be a big fight over paying for the bill. That would be my read of the situation.
If Sirianni was there,
yeah,
I'd let Sirianni pick it up.
Okay, but what if it was just you and Dom?
I'd probably pick it up.
Yeah, at that point. I mean, it would depend. Maybe, and then Dom will get you on the wraparound. Like the next one's on Dom. I don't think that's bad.
You know what the MO is?
Okay.
To picking up the bill.
Tell me.
You do this early on. Go to the bathroom early. On the way to the bathroom, you get the waiter. You give him the card. Listen, at the end of the bill, use this.
Well, you know the famous one of the Sopranos.
Yeah.
Where the kid went and did that.
Yeah.
And then Tony almost lost his mind.
Right.
You got to be careful.
You do have to be careful. One time I got caught.
Did you?
Yeah.
You see but you're trying to do the right thing.
It was a good friend of mine, and he was getting married, and I of
didn't
course
sit right though.
Well, because it was out in Vegas.
Okay.
So,
very pricey then.
Yeah, and so yes, so.
All right.
But he saw me do it, and it was a restaurant that was a little smaller, so.
And he wasn't happy?
Well, no, he just said I saw. You
weren't as sneaky as you thought you'd
be.
All right, there it is.
I cleaned it up over the years.
Sneaky Lisi, man. Let's hit a break. We're going to continue, of course, our breakdown of Super Bowl 60 out in San Francisco. The Seahawks and the Patriots right here on SportsGrid.
Heads or tails? Over or under? Seahawks, Patriots. Don't stress. SportsGrid breaks it all down.
They are locks.
We can capitalize.
We're going to see a ton of over money.
Props, expert guests, and smart insight leading up to the big game.
Oh my God, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
Only on SportsGrid.
They're just unblemished everywhere. They dominate you defensively, and they have offensive balance. They force turnovers. They control the glass. Let's put it to you like this. UConn isn't just undefeated. They're a tyrant over the women's basketball landscape. March won't expose them much as they will confirm their invincibility.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Can USA overtake Canada and get that gold, Joe?
Absolutely, they can here. And ultimately, it feels like that is the two-horse race. And I think ultimately, Canadians don't really care if their team competes in the luge or the bobsled, Donnie, or anything else. They just want that gold when it comes to ice hockey. And that is the only thing that's going to matter there.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Drake May and Sam Darnold here and again. Getting out of Stidham, which who knows what that have brought to the Super Bowl. But at least we get a young quarterback in Drake May looking to stamp his claim to, yeah, Tom Brady was great for this organization. Let me see if I can run a couple championships up the flagpole early in my career. And then there's Sam Darnold at this point, where he's getting other general managers fired while he's making his run to the Super Bowl. He's been nothing short of really, really good this season.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.